We've identified what a Roth conversion is. We've identified the ideal situation from retirement to RMD stage, and knowing that at RMD stage we have to take money out of this big bucket if we have not taken some form of action. So now let's zero in even further. Okay, so client just retires, or he retires in 2024 or 2025 or whatever that may be. Now we start talking about Roth conversions. Mm-hmm. Is that accurate? Okay.
Yes.
What are we talking about with our client? So however you want to start, right? You mentioned there's a number of different factors, and you talked about the break-even age, and you talked about the current tax brackets. So expand on that a little bit. So now I'm just retired. The window is now open for me to do Roth conversions. Walk me through all the different things I need to think about and how an actual Roth conversion works.
Yeah, there's a lot in my opinion. So let's say we kind of did that first step. We kind of identified that we think a Roth conversion could make sense for you based on your goals, your objectives, your age, etc. The next thing we're going to look at is the one that most people are aware of, and that's just your federal tax bracket. Where do you currently fall on that? Where do you project to fall on that? And can we use that to our advantage and convert dollars within our current tax bracket? So the way we like to go about it at SHP is basically we'll give the client a couple scenarios to consider. The first scenario is usually a more conservative scenario, and I don't mean conservative in risk, I mean a smaller number where we're not trying to increase their tax bracket or jump them to that next tax bracket. We're not trying to create any additional taxation that we don't need to. So we're very mindful of these factors that we're about to go over. So the first one is that tax bracket. Where do you fall? Do we have room in that current tax bracket? So that's number one. I'd also like to mention too, I think it really depends. If you're in a 12% bracket and you're jumping to 22%, that's a 10% jump. So we want to be extremely mindful of that. But if you're in the 22% bracket, and the next bracket right now is 24%, that's not so bad, right? That's a 2% jump. We can probably still get some benefit out of that in your retirement by not expanding that break-even age by a significant amount of time.
And let me just now interject really quickly about that 22 to 24%. You mentioned earlier about the tax cuts sunsetting in 2026,
Yep.
right? So not only is it might only be 22 to 24%, but compare that same bracket. What's that same bracket going to be in 2027?
Exactly. So I mean that exactly hits on the point, as we can save in that case at 4% or whatever that was on taxes, which is huge in the long run.
Right. No, because I mean that's back to again how tying all this together, right? Think about all of the connecting all the dots. It's like, okay, well, what would you rather do? Would you rather pay 24% taxes on that withdrawal, i.e. conversion, or do you want to wait until you're 75 or 73? Now you have to take out the RMD, and now you're paying 28%. Your income didn't go up at all, but the tax brackets did.
Yep.
So it's just you're able to choose what taxes you control, the taxes that you pay on that distribution, based on the knowledge of where the tax brackets are now versus where they're going to go in the future. So I think that's just important to emphasize the control. And maybe it's again, efficiency will be our word of the day. But
Control is big too.
Yeah,
you say that all the time. You can't control a lot that happens in retirement and everything that happens in the outside world, but you can control, or at least where the tax brackets are or what you're going to potentially pay, which is, can we take that to our advantage, is the ultimate question.